It's a selection of patterns inspired by 70s art aesthetics. First of all, it's probably, and not only jump ropes and dumbbells can now be beautiful, but also the iconic objects of this amazing company by Lalique are presented this year. Hi friends! Today we have the second day at Paris Design Week, and we are going to spend it with you at the Maison Objet fair, which is considered to be the most important event of this week. Here, as you remember, there are several pavilions. I told you about the organization of this exhibition last time. If you haven't seen the Maison Objet winter season report, take a look and you'll have a better idea. And today I will try to find some interesting novelties, and together we will try to figure out whether something has changed in trends in the direction of design since January, when the last Maison Objet exhibition was held, or for example since April when we were at the Milano Salon. This time we will start a little bit backwards, that is from Pavilion 8, not from the first pavilion as people usually do. And this pavilion is called Unique and Eclectic. There are some artifacts here, and the artifacts are mostly ethnic. It's Africa and Asia. It's really very eclectic here, both in terms of the set of items represented and in terms of stylistics. There are some interior items, dishes, textiles and some wall decor. In general, there is a lot here. And of course, in such a concentrated way, it seems like too much. In general, in a good interior, some ethnic motifs are quite appropriate. Anyway, all the interiors that are created now can be called eclecticism, because the items from different eras and different styles are combined, and the interior, thanks to this, look alive and mature, like it already existed. This can also be fixed as a trend. Another trend, a kind of derivative of the big trend of maximalism, are patterns. In the What's New area, Elisabeth Leriche, the trendsetter, has set up a pattern factory, speaking of which she was responsible for the installation in this zone last season as well. There are 5 trends represented in the pattern factory. This is urban graphic, or patterns influenced by pop art and architecture. This is floral pop, with various florals and all sorts of plant motifs. Ethnic chic, of course, is ethnic motifs and exotic animals. This is what comes to us from far corners, that is from Asia, from Africa and probably from South America. Then the plant motifs move on to Gardens of Eden. So if you're still not tired of ficuses, tropicals and palm leaves, then this selection might suit you. And last is Arty 70s, meaning it's a selection of patterns inspired by 70s art aesthetics. First of all, it's probably pop art, but of course not only. There are some bold brush strokes, some absolutely fantasy patterns that do not exist in nature. And the most important thing is color. The color here is very bright, literally saturated. And in principle, all patterns are very saturated. And what surprises and delights is the skillful combination of these patterns. Because all the time it seems that the pattern should be one, but here it is shown that there can be many of them. Not 2 or 3, but 5, 6 and more. And this is actually a very interesting idea. But nevertheless, I would always work with it very carefully. As you remember, in the project area there are companies that offer finishing materials and some interior details that are absolutely different. Here, first of all, are wallpapers and fabric manufacturers, and this riot of patterns continues here. There are also manufacturers of sanitary ware, handles and hardware, and I really like that here you can find absolute rarities, for example, designer trainers. It is not very cool to put at home exercise equipment the same as those in fitness centers. So there is such interior fitness equipment. And not only jump ropes and dumbbells can now be beautiful, but also trainers can match the interior. Another interesting story is the design of greenhouses. Obviously, the trend is to combine outdoors and indoors. And of course, there is a lot of attention paid to the beautiful decoration of terraces and homesteads as well. And now there are also designer greenhouses, in addition to the glamping tents we saw last time at this exhibition. And it's very interesting. But this is terrible. Plush toys furniture is very much on buff side, I think. The Today Hall features furniture and lighting manufacturers. Here you can immediately count all the most current trends. First of all, it's about color. There is a lot of color, and color is mainly in two directions. These are shades from powdery pink through plum and sausage to Bordeaux. And the second direction is fresher. It is a blue-green range from mint to deep navy. You can see it on almost all the booths. For example, here is lousy furniture in very well-chosen colors. What else can be noted? Shapes. Shapes are still plump. Nothing has changed here since the beginning of the year. They are plump, rounded, and made mostly of textured fabrics. This applies to both indoor and outdoor furniture. And in general, as I've said many times, outdoor furniture is becoming more and more like furniture for living spaces. And it can move from house to terrace, and accordingly from terrace to house. That seems pretty good and versatile to me as well. A couple of other observations I've already mentioned when we were at the exhibition in Cologne. There's a lot of furniture made of wood, and it's almost untreated wood, or rather you don't see that it's treated. These are wide, long tables. That's the thing that always amazes me. How you can make such a piece out of the single slab. It's very cool, and the Eastern Europeans have excelled at it. There's a Croatian company here, for example. Of course, not only Eastern Europeans are doing this, there are many who are doing it now, and it is worth paying attention to. The second observation is the use of wicker, and it's completely different. It's some kind of corduroy or vino straw. They are present in furniture and lamps. In essence, this is also a pattern. So there is also such a manifestation of this trend for rich ornaments. And one more observation, which may be a little sadder, in that it seems to me that this season's exhibition is somehow more modest than the winter one. I wouldn't use the word wicker, but I think I'll go to the city because it's more interesting there. I admit that maybe it is better to visit Maison Objet fair in winter, which is what I always do. But if Paris Design Week's galleries and showrooms, then probably in September. Because firstly, it's more comfortable to move around, and secondly, part of the exposition is moving to courtyards, which is very nice. If such reputable companies, you could say historical manufacturers like Lalique, are paying attention to the pink color, then it's really on trend. The iconic objects of this amazing company by René Lalique are presented this year in a cloudy pink shade of glass, and they really look very cool and amazing. These are home decor, it's also jewelry. The plant theme has always been present at Lalique. It is not a trend here, but it is another thing that the use of such items is relevant now as before. It is great that we managed to visit a brand new showroom that opened in Paris, which is just dedicated to interior items and decoration items from this company. Because of course, we all know it a little bit differently. although in general, in this sense, it has always been used very actively for doors and door handles, for some cabinets, and even in staircase railings glass panels are used. By the way, so that you roughly understand, because surely everyone has a question, how much does it cost? One panel for a staircase railing costs 5,000 euros. But this is a timeless classic, and it has a secondary market, by the way, so consider it an investment. Of course, when your interior is ready, you'll need to add some modern art. And of course, Paris is a great location to walk through the galleries. They are completely different in style, art direction, media and representation. Sometimes it's quite ironic art, sometimes more serious. There are things that are very expensive and recognizable. There are things that are very characteristic. For example, if we talk about patterns, the exhibition of Italian geometry from the 1940s and 1960s is quite interesting. Of course, it would be smart to add original classical design to interiors. It can also be from different epochs, more modern or more distant from our days. There are, of course, antiques. And if we talk about design in France, then it is probably more correct to say that most of the high French design is the author's design. For example, the well-known Christian Liaigre presents his collection and his vision of the interior in a 4-story showroom. And really, with this brand, you can make an interior from scratch. It includes furniture, lamps, carpet, textiles, and small decorative items. And it is practically not subject to trends, although some trendy colors are present here. I'm not sure if it's somehow intentional or more of a coincidence, and it shows that the author's interiors, when done right and well, become timeless. They are interiors that don't age and stay relevant for a very long time. I hope that in today's video you found some ideas to create just such trendy but also timeless interiors for your home, but maybe not only. Thank you for watching, that's all for now, bye!